Wait, it's all white. Always has been.
Welcome to the whitest deck in Master Duel. Taking a page out of a certain Austrian painter's handbook, this deck is the epitome of an Aryan deck. Got blonde hair, blue eyes, pasty white skin, locks you out of dark monsters. Can't get any whiter than this.
You're haunting this house with your whiteness, Brian.
All jokes aside, I present my Blue Eyes White Forest deck list. Now, this deck is pretty interesting. The two archetypes synergize very well since both revolve around light spellcaster monsters, making it super easy to bridge into each other. Both have several 1.5 card combos, making it pretty consistent as well. And the deck can put up an impressive end board, which you'll see in the combo section of this video. Now, for veteran White Forest players, you might notice something's missing. I'm not playing as Amina in this deck. Not that I don't want to, but because I can't really, for one reason. That is the Blue Eyes to White Forest bridge goes through Racist of the White Forest, which locks you out of special summoning dark monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn once activated. So, no as Amina. But you've got the Blue Eyes stuff to supplement, so it's not too bad. Now, with that said, let's get to the deck list. For monsters, got 2 Blue Eyes White Dragon, 2 Effect Veiler, 3 Sage, 1 Master, 3 Maiden, 1 Maxi, 3 Esteller, 3 Alzette, 2 Sylvie, 1 Rusia, 1 Diabell's Star Vengeance, and 1 Diabell's the White Bitch. For spells, we got 1 Synchro Rumble, 1 Tales of the White Forest, 3 Wishes, 1 Roar, 1 Philia Diabell, 1 Mausoleum, 2 Witch of the White Forest, and 1 Called by the Grave. For traps, we got triple Infinite Impermanence, 1 Majesty, 1 Azamina Alps, 1 Curse of Diabell, and 1 True Light. For the extra deck, we got 1 Poplar, 1 Silvera, 1 Rusilla, 1 Ancient Fairy Dragon, 1 Diabell, 3 Blue Eye Spirit Dragon, 1 Royal Juraishin, the Cursed Thunder God, 1 Stardust Cipher, 1 Cosmic Blazar, 1 Crimson Dragon, 1 Blue Eyes Ultimate, 1 Vengeance Dragon, and 1 Spirit with Eyes of Blue. And that was the deck list. Now, as I usually do with my deck lists, I'll be providing my 2 cents on the deck. And I've got to say, this deck is pretty solid. Like, hashtag 6Fs solid. That was a hex code joke. Now, the deck's weaknesses, White Forest players already know that. Their deck immediately dies to droll. Blue Eyes kind of dies to droll. You'll at least be able to get out 1 Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon under droll, but it still hurts. Ash can also be a problem if they hit Wishes or Alzette or Stellar when you have no follow-up, but it's not too bad. Some alternative cards to consider playing. The Black Goat Laughs. Declare a monster name. Neither player can special summon monsters with that original name except from the grave. Graveyard effect. Banish Laughs. Declare a name. Neither player can activate the effects of monsters on the field with that original name. You can use this card as discard fodder for Wishes and White Forest monsters, and use its graveyard effect as additional disruption. There's also Mischief of Gnomes that lets you reduce the levels of all monsters in each player's hand by 1, even after they are summoned or set, which is a little situational, but against Synchro or Xyz decks, this card could really screw them up. There's also Blue Eyes Tyrant and Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate, although I think those cards aren't really necessary since they don't do much for the deck besides being Blue Eyes Protection and a Beat Stick, respectively. You can also consider expanding the deck past 41 cards. There are quite a few cards that you don't want to see in hand, like Blue Eyes, Star, White Bitch, and basically all of the archetypal traps. So going past 40 cards, 41 cards by adding more hand traps or staples could help reduce the odds of you opening up those cards. Because, probability. And that's about it for my 2 cents. If you enjoyed, consider liking and subscribing. If you don't want to do that, even commenting and sharing to boost engagement would help immensely. With that said, let's get to the combos. Alright, so firstly I'm going to show you how to bridge from Blue Eyes into White Forest. All you need is Sage and any card to discard. What you're going to do is normal summon Sage, activate his effect, grab Maiden, activate Maiden for True Light, activate True Light for Wishes, activate Wishes, discarding any card to grab Roar and Master. Make sure you don't use Roar here yet, because it does lock you into dragon monsters in the extra deck. We're going to use that later after we've done our White Forest stuff. Continuing on, you're going to link off Sage into Spirit. Activate Spirit to grab Mausoleum. Activate Mausoleum. Normal Summon Master. Don't activate his effect. Activate Mausoleum, targeting Spirit. Dumping the Blue Eyes. Activate Spirit to reborn Blue Eyes. Triggering Maiden to reborn itself. From here, use Master and Blue Eyes to go into Spirit Dragon. Activate Master Engrave, shuffling it back into the deck, selecting Maiden. Activate Maiden. Make sure Maiden special summons Sage. This is very important. And then that's going to allow Master to summon Blue Eyes. Then you can go into your second copy of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Activate Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon to go into Ancient Fairy Dragon. Activate Ancient Fairy Dragon's effect to destroy a field spell to add Racist of the White Forest. Activate Racist to add a Stellar. Activate Ancient Fairy Dragon's second effect to special summon a Stellar. Activate a Stellar, sending the Forest for Sylvie. That's going to trigger Sylvie to grab either Azamina or Tails. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to grab Azamina here. Then you can Synchro into Rasila. Trigger its effect, discarding the added card, in my case Azamina, to grab yourself Tails, or Azamina if you grabbed Tails instead with Sylvie. This is going to trigger a Stellar and the card you discarded. Setting Azamina, special summoning a Stellar, going into Diabel, Queen of the White Forest. Activate its effect to grab any of the cards, doesn't matter. Then from here, Sylvie, shuffle Rasila back into the extra deck. With Sylvie and Ancient Fairy Dragon, you can go into Draishin. Now you can go activate the Roar to special summon Blue Eyes. Activate your Blue Eye Spirit Dragon to summon Crimson Dragon. Activate Crimson Dragon to grab Rumble. Activate Rumble to grab one of the level 1s. Going into your third Blue Eye Spirit Dragon, activate it to summon Blue Eye's ultimate. Crimson Dragon, targeting the ultimate for Stardust Cipher. Then with the Tales of the White Forest, grab Diabels. Activate it, sending the card you added off of what's a Hoozy. Activate Diabels to send Curse. This is going to trigger Curse to grab Philia. Activate Philia to grab Vengeance. Activate Vengeance, banishing the Philia and Curse. Triggers the Philia to increase all your, I believe it's White Forest monsters or Diabell monsters gain 500 attack. And this is essentially the end board. Now, with this end board, you've got Duration as a Raigeki, as well as a Destroy for spells and traps. You've got Diabell Star, which will allow you to pay half your life points, target a card your opponent controls, destroy it, and then you can special summon a Tuner Synchro monster from your extra deck if you have another Diabell monster. So ideally, you're going to want to trigger this effect once either after you trigger Thunder God's effect, because Thunder God does tribute this card, giving you some space to summon either Poplar or Silvera. And if you go into Poplar with the Vengeance, then you can use Poplar's effect to synchro into Crimson Dragon once again, or Vengeance Dragon. If you go with Crimson Dragon, you can tag Crimson Dragon out for Cosmic Blazar. You also have Stardust Cypher as a monster negate, as well as a pop on the field, as well as just general card protection. You also have Diabells, which as long as you have another Diabell monster on your field, monsters you control cannot be destroyed. So Cypher and Diabells acts as double destruction protection. You've also got Azamina Elves, which will allow you to target cards on the field up to the number of fusion and synchro monsters in your field and graveyard that are Fiend, Illusion, or Spellcaster. Return them to the hand. That will just be one bounce since you'll only have Diabell, Queen of the White Forest on the field. We've also got Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon as a Omni Negate. And after that, you also should have enough space to trigger Diabell's effect, where when your opponent activates a card on card or effect, you can send one spell or trap from your hand or field to the grave. Special summon one level 7 or lower synchro monster from your extra deck, graveyard, or banishment, which can be either Priscilla, Poplar if you didn't already summon it, or Silvera, which acts as a Book of Eclipse. And also you have True Light to set a Majesty for next turn, or special summon a Blue Eyes monster, though I doubt you're going to be able to summon with your board full. And that is the end board. Now I'm going to move on to the White Forest to Blue Eyes combo. Now, to bridge into Blue Eyes, starting with White Forest, all you need is LZ and a Spell or Trap. Also works with a Stellar, but I'm going to be showing the LZ variant here. Just activate LZ, discard Spell Trap. Then you're going to add a Stellar, normal summon a Stellar, and then link LZ off into Spirit. Activate Spirit to grab Mausoleum. Activate Mausoleum, then you're going to activate its effect, targeting anything to dump a Blue Eyes. Activate Spirit to reborn the Blue Eyes. Activate a Stellar, sending the Mausoleum to grab Sylvie, special summon it. Sylvie is going to activate to grab yourself Tails. Then you can go into Ursula, activating her effect to discard the Tails to grab yourself Sage. Now, a Stellar is going to activate, and so is Tails. Tails is going to set itself. Stellar is going to reborn. From here, synchro into Diabell Queen. Activate her effect to grab Mausoleum. Activate Mausoleum again. Normal summon Sage. Activate Sage for Maiden. Activate Maiden for True Light. Activate True Light for Wishes. Activate Wishes, discarding anything to grab yourself Roar and Veiler. Then you can go into Spirit with Sage and Blue Eyes. Activate Spirit to go into Crimson Dragon. Activate Crimson Dragon to grab Rumble. Now you can use Roar to summon Blue Eyes. Make sure the Blue Eyes that you summon is from grave, not from deck. This is very important. This is going to trigger Maiden. Activate Rumble to reborn the Sage. With Sage and Blue Eyes, synchro into your second Blue Eye Spirit Dragon. Now you can use Mausoleum of White again, targeting Maiden, Chain Maiden, and then you're going to special summon the Blue Eyes and dump another Blue Eyes. This is going to let you go into your third Blue Eye Spirit Dragon. Then you can activate one of the Blue Eye Spirit. You go into Blue Eye's Ultimate. Crimson Dragon tagging out into Stardust Cipher. And now you can Tails to grab Diabelle's, the White Witch. Activate Diabelle's, sending the Mausoleum. Activate Diabelle's effect to send Curse. Activate Curse to add Philia. Activate Philia to get Vengeance. Activate Vengeance, banishing the Philia and Diabelle. And this is essentially the end board if you're going from White Forest to Blue Eyes. Now, the only difference with this end board is that you're missing Duration, of course, as well as Amina Alf. But you do get access to Valor, so it's not too bad. Obviously, there's less disruption with this board, but it's basically the same board. And yeah, that's the combo for White Forest to Blue Eyes.